This is KC Sports Tonight.
And there we are. It must be 5:30. Time for KC Sports Tonight, the streaming version. Scott Reiss, Marleah Campbell, and we got a lot to talk about today. A bevy of sports topics for discussion, starting with the Chiefs, because as you so depthly uncovered just a few minutes ago,
45 seconds ago, yeah.
This is a landmark day because we're exactly how many days from the opener?
100.
100 days. We're going to have football at Arrowhead Stadium.
That actually feels pretty short.
Doesn't it?
3 months? I don't know. At least we can start getting to the
It does feel short, man.
Substantial countdown, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's no, it's coming.
Feels like just yesterday. We were in Las Vegas.
Yes. How many days ago was that? I guess that's the barometer. It was probably about 100, actually. It was pretty close. Yeah. Really close. So OTAs back in session. This is the second of 3 sessions of organized team activities. That is what OTA stands for, by the way, kids. If you didn't know, organized team activities. No media today, so we have no moving pictures. We have no availability, no sound, no nothing except a smattering of what you get on Twitter. I guess the Chiefs tweeted out video evidence of one superstar who's in the house today, which is nice.
Chris Jones on the practice field. Remember, these workouts are optional, so last year, if we jump back to 1 year ago, was the...
Where was Chris Jones a year ago today?
The entire offseason was just Chris Jones watch. When is he coming to practice? All the way through training camp, never showed up. We were there every day on the hill in St. Joe, looking at the players coming down the tunnel, just kind of expecting him to just, unannounced
show up.
Yeah, never did.
No.
But that didn't decrease the anxiety of every day. Like, is this Chris Jones' day? As we know, he ended up missing that first game, the season opener against the Lions. Signed the contract. Now here we are, not even having to worry about it. It's not even an afterthought. But Chris Jones at practice today. Other than that, we get one day each of these kind of clumps of OTAs to check out the team in person, and that's when everyone watching is kind of going through their roster checks of who's here, who isn't. So Chris Jones, a guy that does a lot of his offseason stuff on his own. Last year was a giant debacle of trying to figure out when he was going to show up. Back here on OTAs round 2. So that's good news for the Chiefs game.
We will also get our lone injury update for the week on Thursday. Thursday is the one day, by the way, so it's May 30th this time around for the media availability. And Andy Reid will speak. He'll let us know. That's how we found out last week that Xavier Worthy had a hamstring tweak, and so he did not participate. We did have video of him just sort of hanging out with the boys. Hopefully no significant injuries, obviously. We're still 100 days from real live football. So one thing we talked about, you and I, earlier was the running back position.
Yeah.
And what the depth chart looks like. And, it's look, Isaiah Pacheco is the starter, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire re-signed, so he's back to fill his number 2 running back role. And really, those are the only 2 guys who are going to be on the field 98, 99% of the time, barring injury or special circumstance. However, you need more than 2. And with all due respect to Deneric Prince, your boy, who is still on the roster, it's sort of an interesting situation because it's not exactly a who's who if you look at the running back names
the drop-off
who are in
sharp.
Camp. Hassan Hall, Keontae Ingram, who's a cast-off from the Arizona Cardinals, who at least does have significant NFL experience. Prince is there. Luis Rees-Zammit, the Welsh rugby player, but he is a kick returner, and whether he plays wide receiver or running back at all remains to be seen. Carson Steele, an undrafted running back out of UCLA, and that's basically it. So you wonder if one of those guys, maybe Ingram is going to be the number 3 guy, but A, it's a spot that's there for the taking, and B, is there still somebody out in the Netherlands who might be a good fit for this team?
And of course, there's the off chance that, Jerick McKinnon re-ups. He's kind of held out late into free agency the last couple of years. But that said, he's 32. He's kind of had his run of injuries over the years. But
and
man,
Xavier Worthy has his jersey number now.
yeah, that doesn't help. You can always change, right? Yeah, and I mean he's just been really beaten up over the years. I think it was Andy Reid that called him a dinosaur at one point. But man, has he been valuable for this team. We've just been so lucky to. That position room has just kind of cycled through those three guys whenever one of them goes down with a tweak or an injury. Between Isaiah, Clyde, and Jarek, that's just been such a dynamic backfield. And, of course, Jarek McKinnon, extremely talented in terms of his really soft hands. I think about I wish I could remember which game it was. He had that grab of a touchdown in the end zone that was like one of the catches of the year.
Yeah. Minnesota?
For a team
maybe?
that didn't really have a
Might
lot
have been
of
the
catches,
Vikings.
So
Might have been the Vikings.
yeah.
Here's the thing.
Slim.
It seems like slim because it's the middle of May and because he's 32, but this is a guy who has made a habit pretty much every year.
Yeah.
When he's been a free agent, he has signed very late in the process. He did so last year. We should go back and look up when he signed last season. I can't remember if it was before the first OTAs or not.
Just doing these one-year deals.
One-year deals, and he's also a guy who clearly would not need a whole lot of training camp.
And he's everyone on the team loves him. He's such a fun personality.
Right. No, he's slide right into that role. I mean, they could sign
brings,
him in late August, and he'd be fine, I think.
Yeah, brings the veteran leadership. You know, you mentioned the name Deneric Prince. Last season at training camp, there were two names, if you ask anyone there in the media section, on who's going to be a breakout star this year. One was Sky Moore. We really did think Sky Moore was going to have a breakout season. Kind of ended up being somewhat forgettable. Ended in, he had that injury stint with some knee issues. Ended up coming back and being active for the Super Bowl. But so Sky Moore didn't really live up to, the expectations maybe we thought of in the offseason, because he really did have a phenomenal offseason. He was Patrick Mahomes' #1 target all training camp, it seemed. But the second name was a young man named Deneric Prince. He really had a great camp. I mean, a lot of guys, like, I was talking to Nate Taylor of The Athletic, and I asked him, which player do you think is going to step up from year 1 to year 2? Trent McDuffie was #1. As far as guys that, weren't with the team the year prior, Deneric Prince was the name that kept getting brought up. Maybe he has another great camp. Maybe we are looking back on the archives of this episode to the time where I called Deneric Prince sliding into the #3 spot if McKinnon doesn't re-up. But, as we mentioned, as you talked about looking at the depth chart, it really drops off in terms of proven game experience after that 1 and 2.
Indeed it does. And by the way, that is why media members are not allowed to make personnel decisions.
Like,
Sky Moore, man, he's my guy. Breakout star.
We wouldn't be talking about a White House visit on Friday, that's for sure. But
yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a position I'm interested in looking at. And also, the Chiefs didn't draft another running back, so you have to think the mastermind of Brett Veach has some kind of plan that we're not seeing right now, because certainly that position lacks depth. But it's, Brett Veach is always playing chess in a world of checkers. So
yeah,
I'm curious to see how this pans out.
My money is on Ingram. I think he'll wind up being the guy just because, again, he's got multiple years of legit NFL experience, and he is physically profiles just like McKinnon to be a guy in that role who can come in, catch some passes, and play on third down. So we'll see how that plays out. But, hopefully Pacheco and CEH are healthy wire to wire, and we don't care who the third running back is. It doesn't wind up making a difference. Yep. All right, let's move on to the baseball team, who is still in great shape despite yesterday's, not last night, it was a day game, the Memorial Day disappointment that you and I talked about on this very show yesterday. Of course, nobody could hear you because you were at the Mavericks and drowned out by like 8,000 screaming hockey fans.
I wasn't saying anything. I was just opening my mouth.
But yesterday was a bummer because they were down 6-1 in the ninth. And you're like, all right, they're going to lose one. It's fine. And then they came back and they came back and they came back. And then to get it to 6-5 with 2 outs and second and third and Bobby Witt Jr. at the plate, who, by the way, was the player of the week last week in the American League, knowing that all you need is a base hit and you're taking the lead.
I like my money on
right,
that scenario.
And he swings at the and I was surprised they pitched to him, honestly. First thought because there was an error on the preceding play that allowed the runners to move up to second and third, and my first thought was, well, great, they should have stayed put. Now they're going to walk Bobby Witt and with first base open. Vinny was on deck, left-handed. They decided to go righty versus righty and pitch to Bobby, and first pitch swinging, he taps it back to the pitcher and game over, rally over. So that was unfortunate. But you look at the standings, 2.5 games back of Cleveland. The Guardians finally lost a game yesterday. Twins now 6.5 back, and that's why this series is so important. You got a 4-game cushion with Minnesota right now. 3 games left in this series on the road.
Yeah.
And so I'll stick to what I said yesterday, which is you really want to find a way to split this series, win 2 out of 4, or in this case, 2 of the next 3.
Yeah, well, and the Royals are trying to avoid 3 losses in a row, which that has only happened twice so far this season. I was really surprised to see that. 55 games into the year, you've only lost 3 games in a row twice.
They haven't lost back-to-back games since May 4th and 5th, so it's been almost 3 weeks.
Yeah. So, and we got a big one coming up this weekend, with Big Slick at home. It's going to be a really fun atmosphere back at the K. So hopefully, as you said, they can pick up a couple wins in a really tight race here heading into a big home stretch. Yeah,
you see the pitching matchups there. And look, you like your chances. Again, we talked about this yesterday, but just to recap, I think that in terms of just the starting pitcher matchups, yesterday favored the Twins, and the next 3, I think, favor the Royals. Certainly today, I'll take Cole Reagans over the rookie Simeon Woods Richardson. Seth Lugo is leading the American League in wins and earned run average. Bailey Ober was knocked into next Tuesday when he pitched against the Royals on the Sunday of opening weekend. Remember that game? Twins came in here, won the first 2, and then the Royals won 11-0 in the third game of the year. That was Bailey Ober. He gave up 8 runs in like an inning. So you like your chances there. And then, Brady Singer, Chris Paddock may be closer to a wash because the game is in Minneapolis. But I'll take my chances with any of those 3 matchups and figure just if you can hit at all, I think you're going to get a couple of W's. Yeah, you try not to look at the historical trends, but the Royals have lost 15 out of 16 on the road against the Twins, which is not great. Granted, a lot of there's a lot of roster turnover, but good God, this has not been a good. No, and those trends matter, but this Royals team has also made it a habit of eradicating some of those trends with Toronto, with Baltimore, with some of these teams along the way, where it's been like, God, they haven't won a series against X team in 5 years. Well, you know what? Then they go in and they sweep them. So. Yes, they have not played well in Minnesota, clearly, and they did get beat yesterday. But, hopefully they turn it around. Next 3, these are big games, especially coming home. Like you said, it's going to be a fun weekend. Padres in town. Next week you get the Yankees. This is a really, I don't want to say dangerous. I don't want to overstate it, but this will be a challenging stretch for a team that has been just so good to this point in the season. 20 games starting yesterday. The next 6 series are all against teams that are currently in a playoff position. So you're not getting any gimmies. Home and road, you're going to have to play well to keep winning these series. Yeah, and it's a good time to see, how legit this team really is going into the All-Star break. Yeah, totally. So good measuring stick. No doubt. All right, so that game tonight, 6:40, I believe, first pitch in Minnesota. Cole Reagans and Simeon Woods Richardson. Let's talk about the Sporting KC issues, because they got worse today. Yeah, truly bad. Just when you thought. What's the phrase? When it rains, it pours. I think that's kind of the and this is a deluge. It's a hurricane. Yeah. It's not good. They haven't won a league game since March. We've talked about that, and now they're leading scorers on the shelf for at least a couple of weeks. Yeah. So a hamstring strain that he suffered this weekend in Portland, I believe. He has 4 goals on the season. That leads anyone on Sporting KC. Again, as you mentioned, 2 days from now, it's going to be a 2-month anniversary since Sporting got an MLS win. They picked up a couple of Open Cup wins in the meantime. Right. But we got some midweek soccer tomorrow. But, gosh, it's hard to get, reamped for one of those when they just keep getting hit by little things like this. Fortunately, certainly it sounds from Peter Vermeer's press conference earlier today, sounds like it could be worse. It could be worse. He did. Said it wasn't terrible. Game by game, but certainly at this point, if you're Sporting and you're trying to get this thing turned around like they did, last season, earlier than we are right now, by the way, 14 games in, they flipped it around after 10. Now's the time to do it, and this is not the news you need to. No, and hamstrings obviously are tricky. You're talking about soccer, and so much stop and start. That's not ideal. It's one of those nagging things that really takes a while. It's also one of those. It's debilitating. You can sometimes with an ankle, it's pain tolerance, and there's things. Hamstring, you cannot run if the hamstring's not right. Your body will not allow you to I'll tell you this. I pulled I played Division I college basketball. I've broken my foot twice. I've broken a couple fingers. I pulled my groin one time. I would break anything else.
compared to a muscle pull like that. It is so painful, and as you said, it's debilitating.
Yeah.
There's no just like a
no,
strength of
there's no rub some dirt on it and get out there. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Vermees, by the way, was asked what the plan is for tomorrow and going forward when you have your leading scorer not in the lineup, and he would not answer the question. I assume partially for, you don't want to give away the game plan.
Yeah.
But partially he made it clear that, you'll have to wait and see tomorrow, but what we do tomorrow may not be what we do Saturday or next weekend, and it may be a game-to-game decision based on personnel and opponent and that sort of thing. So it might be, by committee, trying to replace Eric Tommy, who, again, leads the team with 4 goals.
You use the word creative quite a bit, so I'm curious.
Yes.
I'm curious to see what that looks like.
We're just not going to use any midfielders tomorrow. We're going to have 6 up front and 5 in the back.
Yeah. So if nothing else, tune in the game tomorrow.
just to see how that happens. So that is a home game. It's here. It's the Vancouver Whitecaps in town tomorrow. So good times. And we wanted to get this in today because it's fun. We love the event because Brian Haney is our guy, and it's the Kansas Jayhawk Roundball Classic annual event. It's been going on 2 decades now. June 13th. You see the website there. This is so much fun, and you and I got to be a part of it last year, and we will be a part of the broadcast team again this year, along with our good friend Danny Welniak. And you get to see your favorite KU basketball stars from years gone by come back and put on a show for a packed mini gym. It's not at Allen Fieldhouse; it's the smaller gym, but. Man, it's a lot of fun. We get to put it on TV. You can see it on KSMO here over that weekend. And it's just a great event and raises a lot of money for a wonderful cause.
Yeah, so this is, I want to say my 3rd or 4th year getting involved in the event, and I can't speak highly enough about it. It's at Lawrence Free State High School. Tickets are not on sale quite yet, but they will be shortly. And it's really cool. So it raises money for local families with children fighting cancer. So just a really incredible event. And I don't know of any in the country like this where you get to be this up close and personal with this kind of caliber of, basketball lore. Devontae Graham, while playing in the NBA, has been out the last several years. I don't know what the roster looks like this year, but Udoka Azubuike was an honorary coach while he was dealing with, kind of a foot injury. I want to say last year or the year before. And then there's guys like, Mitch Lightfoot has been there, Brady Morningstar, Sharon Collins is usually there. He's in the area. So if you're a KU basketball fan, past or present, it's certainly an event, you want to get to come out to. And it's highlight packed. There's windmill dunks. Ben McLemore's been there.
Yep. Langford, Simeon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, a lot of NBA talent. Yeah. And, they have a lot of fun with it, too. They bring some kids on the court. I remember, I think it was last year, Scott Brady Morningstar blocked a kid, and he got booed by everyone and got it teed up. And, it's a fun, it's a really good environment. You get autographs after the games, so bring the kiddos. But, yeah, just a really good chance to get to do something not a lot of people get to do, which is meet your literal heroes in terms of, the greatest players to ever play at KU and benefiting a great cause in the process.
Well, look, as for the cause, we talked to Brian last year, and he said that, now it's to the point where he's got to turn so many people away. He feels bad because they choose 5 or 6 families to be the beneficiaries each year, and now he's got hundreds who are applying, and which is it's great.
And they're local families.
They're all local families, and it's great that the event has such traction and is so well known in the community that you've got this kind of following and this kind of interest. But then it's tough because you want to help everybody, but obviously you can't do that logistically. But then you also mention the fact that you haven't seen anything like this anywhere else. I don't know how many markets and how many colleges could pull this off.
Have this kind of buy-in from their alumni base.
Because the combination of, first of all, Brian Haney being Brian, right? The driving force behind this and this just relentless dedication, to help the community and to do good things for this Lawrence area.
The logistics of that event are
the logistics and getting these former players, and I don't care whether they're done playing or not, whether they're still playing basketball or not. You're talking about guys from all across the country. The logistics of getting guys, and they're not paying these guys. They're asking them to come back, to for the good of the community, right? Mm-hmm. And to do it as a charitable thing. And they do it. And that's the other thing is that all these players are willing on their own dime to come back and do this for Brian, for Kansas basketball, for the Jayhawk community. It's and then you add to that, there aren't a lot of programs that have the tradition that Kansas has with so many dang stars. That we're hearing, right? I mean, just the laundry list of superstar players at Kansas trumps most any other college, North Carolina, Duke. There's only a handful of those blue bloods, Kentucky. So, it would be hard to replicate this, I think, anyplace else. And now it's a freight train, man. I mean, you can't stop it. Every year it's back and it's better than ever.
And there's a really special moment at the beginning where they announce the starting five, which is the local kids who are the beneficiaries of this. Yeah. And all the KU basketball players line up like in a little tunnel, and the kids come through and high five, and everyone's cheering for them. And then they play the videos of the stories of each of these kids, and there is not a dry eye in the house when that happens. So really powerful event, fun, emotional, for a good cause. So checks all the boxes. Oh, and also it's a whole weekend, so if you go to that website, roundballclassic.com, there's also the Roundball Classic that they started a couple years ago, where you can bowl with the KU players, which is a really fun. I mic'd up Devontae Graham one time, and he was just absolutely hilarious. So it's a really fun way to kind of, again, get up close and personal with them. There's a dinner, a gala, so, website, go there. A lot to do.
Go there.
Go there.
And again, we'll be out there, and we will do this again. I'm sure we'll preview it leading up to the event on the 13th, but I would say it's highly probable that you and I will do this 5:30 stream live from the event on that night, which is, again, super cool. We'll certainly have live presence on TV as well. So, going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. It's crazy to think that these June events are here. Once you
go. As I said, it feels like we were just in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, once you hit Memorial Day, man, it's just like,
time flies.
And then summer's here, and soon enough we'll be talking Chiefs 100 days from today.
Exactly 100 days.
All right, well, that'll do it for this installment of KC Sports Tonight. I'll be on the 6 o'clock news with more. Marleah's going to go work on a feature for the 10 o'clock news, and we will be back tomorrow. I believe it's Jared Kohler hanging out with me tomorrow, every weekday, 5:30, right here on the stream. Thanks for watching, everybody.